Hey everyone, welcome to the AEW Dynamite post-game show. Myself, Excalibur, joined by the human suplex machine Taz and the Hall of Fame voice of professional wrestling JR. And guys, what a great episode of Dynamite we had here tonight. We have the final set for the TNT Championship Tournament. Cody will take on Lance Archer on May 23rd at Double or Nothing. JR, what an incredible final we have waiting for us.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. Two very contrasting styles, two very high skill guys. Archer's on a roll, man. Not to say that Cody is, he's the number one contender. That's pretty damn good. But Archer has got great momentum. And the interesting thing about this, Taz, is that Archer's having success without Jake Roberts at ringside. They're doing all their planning before the matches. They are obviously Jake's in Archer's head, but I find that kind of unique because the difference maker may be Jake Roberts.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point, JR, no doubt. I do think, like you kind of laid it out, and we heard it on commentary too, where it's a situation probably where Jake is on the hook, on the phone, talking to Lance. Lance probably a whole bunch. He could be talking right before that match. I mean, so he's just very unpredictable, Lance. Murderhawk monster, monstrous human, and a credible guy, a world-class traveler that can just whoop ass. And I'll tell you what, I think we got ourselves a great final to crown the first ever TNT champion. So we'll see. Will it be the American Nightmare? Will it be the Murderhawk monster? We're going to find out.
It seems like it's Cody's destiny to be the first TNT champion. That's what I think the public sentiment may be. But let's remember this. Lance Archer is not going to get any bigger. Jake's not going to make Archer stronger, but he's going to make him more aware of how to game plan and, most importantly, how to beat Cody. Let's remember this. Jake Roberts is here for one reason, money. And there's more money when you're carrying around a championship. Your positioning on the cards better. Your positioning on the pay-per-views are better. There's just more money in general coming in, more marketing opportunities. So you can bet your ass that Jake's going to have Archer mentally prepared for this. They'll watch footage. They'll watch film. They'll prepare like never before because both men have something major to prove. And I think they get it done, quite frankly. Archer just got, unless something happens between now and the 23rd of May, I got to go with Archer right now.
I think it's a really cool.
Today he's the guy.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think it's a really cool side story to this Cody and Archer rivalry too. That, as you mentioned, you have Jake Roberts in one corner and Arn Anderson in another corner. Two men that I believe never actually crossed paths inside of a ring, or if they did, it was just a couple of times. But now they have these two proteges that before this point in time, both Cody and Lance Archer has had success independent of Arn Anderson and Jake Roberts. But now with Arn and Jake in their corner, in their ear, it's almost like a coach off, like where you have two of the great coaches in football or basketball that are the master strategists that have they're fielding their team and they're sending their troops to war.
Yeah, I mean, listen, good point. And Lance and Cody, they've had, to your point, a lot of success also, and without the help of these men. It just puts you over that edge when you have legendary veterans that are used to being champions at the highest elite level, pun intended, right? Where you have an Arn Anderson and you have a Jake Roberts. It just puts guys like Lance, guys like Cody in this situation to another level, which I think makes it very intriguing. Because look, Cody Rhodes and Lance, they'll roll with success with or without those great legends. I just think having those guys in those respected ears helps them to get to that next level. And I mean, JR, you're feeling like Lance is going to win this thing, right? That's what you're saying.
After what I saw tonight, I'm really leaning toward Archer to win the whole damn thing, even though it might be a better storybook ending if a Rhodes wins the first TNT championship after all those years with Turner that Dusty made famous in his era, in his hot era. He was untouchable. I just think there's the legacy there. it sounds like I'm writing a country song more than commentating on a wrestling match, but the cool ending would be Cody. But the reality of this is Archer's going to be really, really hard to beat. He took some shots tonight from Dustin, who hats off to him. Hats off to Dustin. Great effort. He showed everybody that he's still got plenty left in the tank. I love his game. You can't outbook or outcreate his heart. His heart's it's just amazing. So, but he took Dustin got some shots in, and Archer withstood it. Some big time shots. And Dustin sometimes I think packs a different punch, so to speak, than his brother. Dustin 6'6", Cody 6'1". There's a weight difference. There's a leverage difference. So I was impressed by Archer tonight, and again, without Jake Roberts on side.
Yeah, we saw Archer tonight. He just took Dustin's shots, and Dustin, as you mentioned, JR, a little more heavy-handed than Cody, but Archer was just able to absolutely eat those for lunch. And we'll get to that matchup a little bit later. But tonight, AEW Dynamite. Actually, before that, let me remind everybody that's in the chat right now. If you do have questions, if you have predictions on who's going to walk away as the first TNT champion, now that we know it's either going to be Cody or Archer, please let us know in the chat. And if you have other double or nothing predictions, what do you think is going to happen on May 23rd? Let us know, because we're excited to hear what you guys think. So tonight, Dynamite kicked off with Darby Allin versus Cody, and Darby was prepared. Darby was ready. Taz, he had a game plan laid out, but Cody won it by it was the skin of his teeth.
And sometimes, as you know, Excalibur, that's all it takes is the skin of your teeth. As long as you get that big dub, right? To get that big W. And I thought it was very interesting, and I even tweeted about this as the match ended. And once I saw who the victor was, in this case, it was Cody over Darby. I thought it was funny with the coffin drop. Not funny, but I thought it was really intriguing to see Cody with his size go for that coffin drop, and Darby able to counter it by getting his knees up. And as you guys know, last time we saw that happen, it was the other way around, where Darby was going for his move, the coffin drop, and Anderson was on the outside of the ring screaming, "Get your knees up" to Cody. Darby had Cody scouted, but it wasn't enough because Dustin was able to just squeak by as the coffin drop master himself. Darby hit it, and then there was like that. It wasn't a backslide. It was kind of just like turned him a little bit, and both guys were banged up, and Cody got the win, as you said, Excalibur, by the skin of his teeth, but he goes to the finals.
Yeah, I thought Darby had a good plan. He always has great heart. He's amazing, the will to win this kid has. Because, look, you got to be a genius to figure out he ain't the biggest dog in the hunt, and likely will rarely be, quite frankly. So unless he has a long series of Marco Stunt, which is short. But nonetheless, he's always going to be the underdog. But it doesn't seem to bother him. He brought an A game tonight. He's getting better every time we see Darby Allin. He gets better. We all heard when we were having before the quarantine how the audience was reacting to him. By the way, I got some of my.
Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Sanitizing
Good.
Jones.
Oh yeah, sanitizing Jones, baby. So, but in any event, Darby was very impressive. Cody used a very instinctive, not overly thought, but very effective counter when it looked like Darby had the match won. I think Darby relaxed a little bit. That's inexperience, and with more seasoning and wrestling more guys on Cody's level when you can. The best of Darby Allin is yet to come. I've always said he reminds me of a young Jeff Hardy. He takes chances. He's innovative. He's shooting threes out there, and sometimes you get hot and you win games with threes, and sometimes you're not connecting, so you're getting beat. So tonight I thought it was a hell of a match, but I was impressed that Darby did not seem to be intimidated by the legacy that Cody is building for himself right now. And Darby's a smart kid too, guys. He understands what this title would mean to Cody. And I don't know, he's never said it's an homage to his dad or anything like that. But for me, knowing the dream as I did for all those years, the bulk of my career, and that's a long time, I got to think that somewhere in the back of Cody's head, that dad's going to be watching, and I'm going to win this son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think another one of the really interesting aspects about this match is that you have Cody, who's been, wrestling for 10 plus years now, but now coming under the tutelage of Arn Anderson and the coaching, Arn giving Cody that kind of urging to put the knees up, where then you have Darby, somebody that's under 25 and is so athletically gifted, but also showing some in-ring mental acuity and using some of those things that are that it takes like an Arn Anderson to pass on to you or to bring out of you. And so we saw Darby in his first round match against Sammy Guevara, and now here tonight, like he was wrestling a very smart style well beyond his years. Usually when a guy is at a size advantage, we saw it actually tonight in Marco's stunt, in a size disadvantage, they get a little impetuous. They want to come out of the gates hot. Where Cody was, he and Darby wrestled a pretty even match for the most part, and all it took was one small mistake for Darby to get countered.
Both guys had a.
Sorry, Tess. I just think, really, it's simplest for me watching it. I thought that Darby exhaled a little too quick, and he relaxed a hair because he really believed that he had it won, and by all rights and account of it, what I saw, it looked like he did have it won. But Cody made that one. The only thing Cody could do to win the match was to counter. And he got that counter on. He got the little cradle thing. The shoulders are down. Darby's more shocked. And Darby doesn't have the massive weight and the huge legs and leg strength to kick out of something like that. His knees are back in his face. It was a great pin by Cody. Excellent wrestling. And it's going to take ingenuity and being opportunistic for Cody to beat Archer, in my view, just because of the size and the strength situation.
Taz, any thoughts?
To that point, like throughout a good chunk of the match. I mean, Darby. I mean, both guys were kind of working on each other's legs, but Darby had a lot of heat on that left leg, I believe it was, of maybe it was the right leg. I'm trying to remember now, of Cody.
It was
I mean, a lot of.
I bet you it was one.
Yeah, it was definitely one of his two legs. Right. This is true. I just couldn't remember which one. I think it might have been left. Regardless, I know there was a good amount of offense by Darby on the leg of which I thought was smart. He had a nice tight leg bar in there. He had a lot of aggressiveness and heat on that leg of Cody, which I thought was smart, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, so listen, we're kind of echoing both you guys are saying as far as Darby. He just, yeah, we know he's loaded with fortitude and toughness and heart, and his quickness is amazing. His athleticism is amazing, but his resiliency, to me, how much pain he can take is just something epic, man. To the point you make, JR, about Jeff Hardy. I've wrestled Jeff a bunch, and that guy, you could hit that son of a bitch with all you got, and he just keeps on coming. I know, like Sabu back in the day. Sabu, not a big guy, reckless, crazy, but could take a plethora of pounding. And that's what makes someone tough, how much punishment they can take. Guys like Jeff, guys like Sabu, guys like Darby Allin, those guys can take punishment. And we're watching that Darby. I just think the best is yet to come, to your point, JR. I think his upside is big time up.
Yeah, it's unlimited. So good, really a good. I hope that Darby's going to be disappointed he didn't win the match, as any great athlete should. But when he looks back at it and reviews the whole picture, and maybe listen to what we're saying, it might make him feel a little bit more relaxed that, hey, I did really well. I worked my ass off. I gave the fans everything at home and whoever was in the arena, everything I had. My effort was there. I came up 3 seconds short, and that's not very long in the lifespan of a pro wrestler. So hats off to Darby, but again, Cody out-wrestled it. At the end of the match, when it counts, he out-wrestled it. It's a football analogy. When Cody got in the red zone, he scored. Darby was unable to do so.
Yeah, I think Darby is, as he continues to put things together, both of you use the word reckless, and what we saw here tonight and what we saw against that match against Sammy was a more thoughtful Darby. And so the more thoughtful he becomes as a wrestler, the more deliberate he becomes as an in-ring competitor. I think it's just a matter of time before we see him win one of the two championships here in AEW. And I think it's going to be a lot sooner than later.
I think you might be right about that. I mean, and I think it's a good observation by you, because Darby did not maybe wasn't as reckless as we've seen before because of what happened, what could have happened even earlier in the match, where you make one teeny mistake and you get caught by a guy who's technically sound at a big time world class level like Cody is, and that's how we saw Darby lose the match.
Well, from that point on, we had one half of the finals for the TNT Championship determined. Cody advanced, but the next segment, we got to see the second part of that video package from last week on Scorpio Sky, and all three of us had a lot of praise for Scorpio Sky. But this just underscores the fact that he is somebody that he's not part of the under 25 group of guys in AEW, but he is a young guy that is going to be one of the cornerstones of AEW for years to come.
Yeah, JR, if you want to go first.
No, I want you to go first.
You want me to go
I'm trying
first?
to see what your shirt says.
Oh, it's an old shirt. It's
And I also have a wardrobe change right now. I'm going to put my other cap.
Well, what happened? You just switch caps? Well, I'm going to do the same thing. Hang on a second.
Got to add a few elements to show.
That's off brand though. The book's called Under the Black Hat.
All right. Change hats. You want to change hats? We'll change hats. Come on.
Oh boy, what's your shirt say?
It's an old school. My show when I had my podcast that you were a guest on many times. A Taz show. Body slams and gimmick Jones.
Okay.
Beyond.
It's beautiful.
Taz Jones. Taz Jones. Yes. All
right, so go ahead. Lead it off. I'll follow you. I'll try to.
All right, I'll lead off. Scorpio Sky. He's the man. I'm a huge mark for Scorpio Sky. I think he's I've always loved his work. And now getting the opportunity at times to call his matches here for me, in AEW, I think is great. I'm a big fan of this man's athleticism, of his the fight he brings. I love his promo work. I think he's underratedly a really good promo guy, Scorp Sky. And he's one of these guys one of these athletes that we have a lot of them that we can use the word, upside. We could use the word, the future's his. We could use the word potential future AEW World Heavyweight Champion. We could do all that with a guy like Scorpio Sky because it could happen. I mean, and I'm not saying he's breaking away from SCU. He could not. I have no idea. I'm not in that loop. But all I know is you could strap the rocket to Scorpio Sky and do just fine. He's the real deal, in my opinion.
It seems to me by the tone of his interviews, and I agree with you guys, he's a really an amazing athlete. That's what impresses me. The thing that stands out for me, I could watch his work and tell you he was good, as most anybody should be able to. But when I met him in the locker room areas and the catering and around the facility on TV days, he struck me as an extremely bright guy who's very focused and has big dreams. But the thing about it, and I don't think I said this to him because I've probably been out of school, but your big dreams are not going to be realized as a part of a six-man tag. Ain't going to happen. So what role is he? Is he Buddy Roberts? Or who is he in this tag team? I don't know.
Right.
But seriously, you want the spotlight, and you want the spotlight to shine on you and not you and your two buddies. And that's a business decision here. And I'm not knocking SCU.
Right.
They're a hell of a tag team. And I love Frankie Kazarian's game and have for years. And of course, they got the old leader there in Christopher Daniels. And so he adds a lot of stability. So does Kazarian and Daniels need Scorpio Sky? My vote would be no. Secondly, does Scorpio Sky need his two partners? Absolutely not. If he wants to, he'll never know if he doesn't try. Can I be the top guy at AEW? Can I set records? Can I do things that others have not done? Boys, you all can agree or not, but the son of a gun is as athletic as anybody we got. And he can do everything. He can fly, he can strike, he can grapple. And he's very, again, cerebral, and he's very focused, the inner side of Scorpio Sky. So all I'm saying is, and Taz, I'm like you, I have no dog in the hunt. I'm not in that yard anymore, thank goodness.
Right.
But I'm Scorpio Sky, man. I'm lobbying for my opportunity to see what I can do as a singles wrestler. And I think if he gets that opportunity in a big way, we're going to see great things and great matches from him as 2020. I really believe 2020 is going to be a great year for this guy. I feel that. So hopefully I'm right, because he deserves it.
I agree.
Yeah. I think, from Sky's perspective, and no offense to Frankie Kazarian or Christopher Daniels, but both of them are, over 20 years, both of in-ring experience. So they are, on the downside of the hill of their careers. Where Scorpio Sky, I mean, he might just be at the peak, might just be over the peak, but he's got a lot of years left in front of him. And so, JR, I think you're exactly right. He can draw inspiration and influence from Daniels and Kazarian, but I think now's the time for Scorpio Sky to strike out on his own.
Yeah, great video. I thought, not to jump ahead too far, but I thought tonight the production elements were amazing. The Jericho thing was funnier than hell.
Oh, it was great.
Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel was money.
Yep.
Really was money.
Not Rebby.
Right, yeah. She's an Oklahoma girl.
Yeah.
She was a Dallas Cowboy. I believe she was a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
She was.
I worked with her in a different place.
She's also wrestled. She's also wrestled before.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
Taz, I didn't know you were part of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader squad.
I was.
It was before the operation.
Yeah. No, I was one of the male cheerleaders, Jerry. You should have known that with the Cowboys. Yeah, I was a Dallas Cow Guy cheerleader.
Cowpoke.
Yeah.
Kayfabe.
He was a catcher.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's up for interpretation, by God. He caught the little flips, and somebody's got to be strong and catch them.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the video packages, that we had another video package, a remote video package from MJF, this time with another injury that has allegedly kept him out of action. But we will see him live next week on Dynamite. We found that out, and we also found out that we'll be back live on Dynamite next week. So that's something that's really cool for us to be back in the same place together, working together with our crew. And it's not just the in front of camera crew, but it's also the production crew, the backstage people. It's great. It's going to be great to see everybody. Obviously, there's going to be some very different constraints that from a typical episode of Dynamite, but Doc Sampson and the team have done a great job preparing us. Everybody's going to be safe. Everybody's going to be, handling it professionally, because we know that this is going to be the first of many in this era. And so we want to start it out right, and we want to keep, set a good example for everybody.
I think we gotta get ready. I mean, this is kind of like life as we know it. What's going on, right? Get your mask ready, get your social distancing ready, and this is kind of we just got to all be smart. This is on the world right now.
Taz, you have an orange mask?
I got an orange and black one with a big ass 13 right on the middle of it. You got to see it. It's going to be great.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think we're also, as another stage of precaution, going to be tested.
Yes, yeah. There will be on-site on-site point of care testing for everybody that enters the building that day. And so that was something that was insisted upon by our management team, that if we are going to resume these things, we need to keep everybody as safe as possible. And so, for me personally, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, but so that went a long way into kind of calming my nerves.
Yeah.
Well, you're coming back to work?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
No, I was just kidding. Excalibur. I'm planning on being there as well. So yeah. I'm going to try to catch a ride with Jon Moxley when he's driving his truck through. He should be coming on I-40 at some point. And I've
just hang out on the interstate, stick out your thumb. He'll pick you up.
Old school. Hitchhike. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, if people don't realize, like, flights, and you guys notice, flights are, the airlines have been getting smashed financially, and the flights there's just not a lot of flights. There's just nowhere near the amount of options on flights to get to certain places in this country right now. So for those of us that have to get on a plane to go to, fly to work, it's hard. It's hard now. It's just, you got to be safe, and it's,
especially coming out of New York and the tri-state area.
Mm-hmm.
It's even been more challenging than for a lot of guys because of the travel restrictions. But hey, I'm going to fly to Atlanta, and I'm going to ride with Shivani from Atlanta to Jacksonville. Old school, man. Both those are jacked about this 4 or 5 hour drive. It's just going to be great. I think we should tape it. I think it'd be some good stuff. But
well, I'm sure that you guys, your buddy, you and Tony, Conrad Thompson, he'll figure out a way to make money on it. So tape it.
Yeah, he's already suggested that. The Podfather. He don't turn nothing down but the covers, man. So anyway, it's going to be a little reunion next week. It'll be great, and I'm excited about getting out of the house. Hey, guess what I'm doing? I'm having my bathroom remodeled while I'm gone.
Nice.
When I walk back in, I told my guy today, I want it to be finished. I want to walk back into a brand new bathroom with a shower, Taz. It looks like an athletic shower. You got room for the guys. So literally.
That's great. I mean, I have a big shower also. I was actually one of these post shows. I was contemplating setting my camera up in my master bathroom. You could fit 7 people in our shower. So hopefully you have a bigger one where you can fit maybe 8 people in it.
I love it.
If we're talking about master bathrooms, I'll share this story. My master shower is just kind of like glass on 2 sides, all up and down against the wall, right? One day I was taking a shower, and it happened to be one of the big earthquakes here in Southern California. So I'm in the shower, obviously butt-ass naked, and then everything starts shaking. And I think about, what happens if these 2 giant glass panes just shatter while I'm completely naked? And so that's something that stuck with me for a number of years. And I think a bathroom remodel might be in order, JR.
I believe it is. For some reason, a bathroom door is getting smaller.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. It can't be me.
No. I've eaten breakfast with you on the road. It's definitely not you, JR.
No. Grapefruit and buttermilk.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So when we last left our wrestling talk,
yeah, that's right. We were
MJF doing a video.
And
I ain't buying into it. Nobody should buy into it. He's a con man.
No.
And he's a hell of an athlete. I'll tell you that. He may be the champion someday. That ain't going to surprise me either. But he's taking a lot of shortcuts, and he's like another guy, Taz, that you and I both know very, very well from that area. He has the propensity to embellish or to create stories.
I think 5 minutes.
I'll call you back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
5 minutes, I swear. A week later, I don't think somebody's never called me back.
I've been there a lot. Yeah, MJF, listen, you guys understand this. And now maybe for you, Excalibur's hard because shaving, you always have the mask on, so you don't really shave. But for most men that do shave, a nick, when you nick it, it could be dangerous. So look, he's a fellow Long Island guy. MJF, I can't, I'm buying in. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can see how you think he's a con man, but you're from Oklahoma, JR. So you think all of us people from up north here are con men. I'm
very naive. I'm very naive and ignorant. I really am.
I never said that.
Hey, why would I not trust a nice little Jewish fellow from Long Island?
I don't know.
No reason. Only when he opens his mouth, he exposes himself. That's all. But he can go, though. He can go.
He can go. And
that's
I know you do. And I'll tell you. And he's going to be a future world champion. I really believe that.
Yeah, just like Scorpio Sky is going to be one of the cornerstones going forward. Darby Allin's going to be one of the cornerstones going forward. MJF, you will be right there with him. And
no doubt.
And also, actually, Wardlow, too. We saw another impressive performance by Mr. Mayhem, and he is somebody that...
Second week in a row, Excalibur. Sorry, I get this thought. If I don't say it, I'll forget it because I'm old. Second week in a row, both Wardlow's matches should have been stopped.
Mm-hmm.
The pin was academic. It meant nothing. He destroyed the human being that he was booked with. The referee's got to start paying a little bit more attention. They look down like they're looking at their eyes or where they think they're looking at. I don't know if they know what they're supposed to be looking at. But when an athlete can't defend himself, it's your obligation as a referee to stop the damn thing, TV or no TV.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. So I thought I thought Wardlow has been extremely impressive, and again, he's been impressive without his man at ringside, MJF. That's even more impressive to me. Wardlow's got an unlimited. He's talking about unlimited. He's XXL unlimited. So, and when he realizes how good he can be, he's going to be something to handle. I can tell you that.
Well, JR, from a I mean, you know, we've known that you have a long history on both in front of the camera and behind the scenes in terms of talent relations and stuff like that. If you saw somebody with the look, the size, the agility of Wardlow, I would have to imagine that'd just make your mouth water.
Oh yeah, he's what turned in previous organizations that I have been employed. He would have been very coveted, extremely coveted, and rightfully so. The thing you always hear about those guys that are heavily muscled like that is, can you avoid all the tears and the pulls and the things, because the tendons don't grow. The muscle grows, but the tendons that connect everything doesn't grow. So sometimes that could be an issue. And the second thing, you hope that he doesn't have 2 left feet. It doesn't seem like this kid's got 2 left feet to me. He sets his own pace, and the way you're going to beat this son of a bitch is to make him wrestle fast. And I don't know that we have anybody on the roster right now that can make Wardlow wrestle fast.
I had the opportunity to watch Wardlow work before he came. He was in here in AEW, and I was like, well, okay, this guy is a tremendous athlete and has excellent timing in the ring and is physical, you know, as hell. So he jumped off the screen to me before I even saw him in an AEW ring. And then once you align him with someone like MJF, who quite possibly is the best talker in professional wrestling today, or one of the top 3, I humbly say I think we have all 3 right in our company, but that's me being a competitor, being competitive. So, but the thing is, I do think that Wardlow's a guy that is finally getting an opportunity to show he's not just some big muscled up dude that looks great in a suit and a Burberry tie, you know, with MJF, that he is an athlete. He is a bona fide professional wrestler, and he is a BMF, no doubt about it. And, you know, I think the sky's the limit for him, and I just love the connection with him and Max with MJF. I just think it works.
Good chemistry, good for both guys. They both, the old proverbial rubs that we always hear people talking about. They give each other a rub. It's good. It's good matchmaking, so to speak. It's good creative for those 2 guys to be aligned with each other. And of course, when, you know, I just think that Wardlow, you can compare Wardlow a lot like a Scorpio Sky. Are you going to be better with somebody else, or are you going to be better as a single? Well, my vote's always going to be, you're probably going to be better as a single, quite frankly. Wardlow at some point down in his journey is going to be, he's going to be very impressive as a single star. And another guy that, when we talk about our big pay-per-views coming up, like Double or Nothing on the 23rd, you can watch it on pay-per-view. You should watch it on pay-per-view because it's going to be a ball buster. He'll be guys we talk about in those main event slots. It's just a matter of time. Is it going to happen this year? I don't know if it's going to happen this year. But within a year from now, you can bet your ass Wardlow's going to be looking down at the rest of the card. He's going to be sitting at the top of the mountain, in my estimation. He has that much potential. Again, injuries, attitude, woman trouble. I'm kidding. It's actually true.
That's a shoot.
Yeah.
It's all good. So I was impressed with this kid. I just think that 2 weeks in a row that he's absolutely ragdoll people. Their arms are hanging down. They're flailing at the side like they're the cowardly lion.
I'll tell you this right now. That spot he done there, where I'm trying to remember now, he had the kid goozled up on the rope. You know what I'm saying? And it drives that strike, knee strike.
Brutal.
Holy AF. It was insanely nasty. I mean, I've seen a lot of spots in my day like you guys had. I mean, JR, you might have seen the first match in wrestling, but I digress. But
that was Abe Lincoln and Stephen Douglas back in the big war, the political war in Illinois in the 1860s, I think it was.
Did you call it or you reffed it? Were you reffing it?
No, I just put the ring up. I had a cut of the concessions. We
Oh, shit. That's
sandwiches. Funny. It was fucking wonderful.
I lost my train of thought. But in all the years, all of us combined, the three of us, all the wrestling we've watched or called or done or what have you, I don't know about you guys. I don't remember ever seeing that spot, that move done like that. I'm not one of these overstatement guys, that's never been done before. That's a load of bullshit. But with that, I don't know if that's ever been done. I mean, either of you guys ever see it done just like that?
No.
I mean,
I love the innovation. That's one of the great things I noticed when I first came to AEW. Meeting so many new guys and thinking you really understand the business. I think I did psychologically, but there were so many new physical wrinkles added to the game that I had not been calling. Even when I did the New Japan stuff for Access TV, it was more traditional. A lot of high flying, but more traditional, quite frankly, in presentation. And I hadn't done much other work besides that in a while. So I didn't really give a shit.
Right.
Who did a suicide of Tope? Well, I like it, but I wasn't compelled to learn everything because I wasn't doing it. And I wasn't sure I was ever going to do it again until Tony Khan came along and pulled me out of misery.
But speaking of that whole deal you just said there, JR, like innovation, like all kidding aside, like to me, as a former in-ring guy, and a trainer and stuff, like I think it's very important, and I think it's okay to be inspired by other guys that either came before you or maybe your contemporaries as far as moves and spots in the match. But you see a lot of young guys and young girls in the business, the past few years that just blatantly just steal spots and moves from people. And man, that is just, it's like,
you're right.
Well, like right. And you can relate to a comedian, like, when you steal a comedian's material, that will piss a dude off. I don't know if this generation is the same, but I know like my generation, like everything pissed us off,
Well, here's the deal. What I see is a total abortion, to use a very coarse word, because it's a very coarse thing to do, is that talents steal other talents' finishes and use them for transitions.
Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
Like, at one time, if Jake Roberts nailed a DDT, he got a huge pop and everybody knew it was over. The bullet went into the guy's heart. This son of a bitch is gone. And now I watch wrestling on different places. It's a transition spot. The Canadian Destroyer, one of the most impressive looking finishing maneuvers that I can remember seeing in a long, long time. And it's just a false finish. It's a high spot. It's stupid. What do you got to do?
Right.
What do you got to do? I don't understand that logic. And I think less can really be more if you add the drama to it, the facials. It's storytelling, guys.
Yeah.
It's all about storytelling. Whether Taz is wrestling Excalibur, you're going to tell me a story, and I'm going to try to put your music, a lyric to that music. And I don't have any say over your music. That's you guys created.
I know I'm going to suplex the shit out of Excalibur a bunch.
And he'll no-sell it, but what the hell?
That match, I'm probably going to bump around a lot and then look for a roll-up at some point.
Then he'll kick me. He'll low blow me, and I'll lose. Do the job.
Well, back to Dynamite.
You guys wonder what I'm drinking? You guys wonder what I'm drinking tonight?
What are you drinking tonight, JR?
I'm drinking Diet Peach Snapple.
I'm a big mark for that. I love Snapple, Diet Peach Snapple Jones. Of course, you're drinking a New York beverage, by the way.
I got to loving it when I was working the Ivory Tower there in Stanford.
Oh, 595.
So
I know that.
I'm pretty goddamn cool tonight.
Yeah, you are. You got it all locked in.
And I got a nice bookmark.
Plug Jones. There we go.
Okay.
And there's Excalibur. He'll plug away with you. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Let me grab. Mine's over at the other. I never got one. Oh no.
You know what, Taz? There's this website. It's called Amazon.com. They've got plenty. They'll send you one.
Send me your address. I'll mail it tomorrow. And don't pout.
No, you offered me one. You don't remember. I don't remember where the hell.
Yeah.
You did offer me one.
You don't read, though, you said.
I don't read. It's overrated.
You don't or can't?
I can.
Oh, okay.
But I'm a product of the New York City schools, public school system, by the way, and I'm proud of that. I can read. I mean, yeah, but it's just the book's big. If it's book's over 100 pages, I have no interest. I lose interest. I know JR. I know everything that's in the book. No, I read I skimmed through some stuff with that book. It's a great book. Under the Black Hat. Under the Black Hat. I know the book. It's plugged everywhere. It's awesome. You kidding me?
This is a goddamn ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one. I'm moved. I'm humbled by the Academy. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and knowing that I'm not drinking. I'm just crazy.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of crazy.
Excalibur, you're clearing the bus here. Where are we going?
The Bubbly Bunch. We had the part 3 of the Bubbly Bunch with the Manitoba Melee. Had a lot of faces from AEW that we hadn't seen in quite a while. We had Peter Avalon, Sonny Kiss, and then we also had a lot of the friends of AEW, or friends of Le Champion, Chris Jericho. We had Jay and Silent Bob, Gabriel Iglesias, all sorts of people. And I thought that was, it was a fun segment, and really coming off of that Wardlow squash match, really kind of changed the mood, got things back a little lighter, and it was fun.
Very entertaining, awesomely
very well done.
Very well done. Yes.
And the difference is they did that, believe it or not, kids out there in YouTube land, they did that without a cadre of writers. that was a Jericho idea. And because he's in AEW, he's respected, and he's an intelligent guy, his voice is heard. Not just heard, it's reacted to. So I thought Jericho was an MVP of that situation. His commentary's been great. But he's wrestling next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Get everybody back in the ring. We're going to have a hell of a loaded show next week, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Next week's going to be awesome, no doubt.
Yeah, we had Jericho and be teaming up with Sammy Guevara next week in that street fight, that no DQ, no countout match against Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy. But tonight we did have another street fight match as best friends. Chuck Taylor and Trent took on Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. And man, did Havoc and Sabian put a beating on the best friends tonight.
Physical,
Very
super
impressive.
physical. When you have you stop moving furniture around, you get all those weapons involved. People dig it, and it's I think it's being that there was no live audience there besides talent sprinkled throughout, spread out throughout, throughout the crowd. I thought it really added to it. But yeah, it was as violent could be on TV as far as worldwide TV today. But I thought it was great. I enjoyed it, and you're right. I mean, the heels took it to the baby faces in a big way, and Havoc and Sabian, the two UK boys, they can whoop some ass. But at the end of the day, best friends looked all right.
2 observations. One is my diet Pete Snapple went down the wrong way, and secondly, even though I really need a haircut, I mean bad.
Nice.
I'm not getting that Jimmy Havoc style. Won't do it.
Oh, big time comb over Jones he's got going on there. Yeah, he's got the it's got a whole like that. It's great.
All right.
Yeah, we're very quickly running out of time. We still got a lot to get to.
Well, what? The internet's going to run out? What do you mean running out of time, Excalibur? What kind of shit is that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, Taz. Do you get paid if we go over the top of the hour?
Hey, I'm a team player, brother. I'll go all night. Look, shaking.
All right, then tell me more about the technique when Jimmy Havoc suplexed Chuck Taylor into those chairs. Did he pop the hips well? Like, what did you think on the Taz scale?
Oh, I hear sarcasm. That's sarcasm. That's snarky.
Teeny bit of snarkiness.
Hey, I haven't had dinner yet. I'm getting irritable.
I think Excalibur's jealous of the TBT. You guys know what the TBT is?
That is actually 2.5 segments away, but yeah. I mean, we still got
to get there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's on my notes.
Yeah, you're gonna put it over, huh? All right.
No, I was gonna bury it actually.
I actually wanted to ask you guys a question about that when you get there, because I do have a legitimate question for both of you men.
Okay, I'll make sure not to skip it.
Too much.
So, but the another of the very enjoyable segments that we had, the non-wrestling segments, was Britt Baker's role model segment. And that, I mean, it was, it was done in a very mockumentary style, but I thought the tone and everything was perfect for Britt's character. I thought it worked really well. And it did a lot for her, in this time when, not everybody's able to be on TV in ring. It did a lot. It maximized her minutes, to borrow a phrase, JR.
Yeah, no doubt. The one danger that we all have to be aware of when we're producing things like this, and AEW is very sensitive to the audience. None of those pre-tape bits tonight, in my view, went too long. I wasn't tired of the bit when it was over. I was enjoying it, and they left me wanting a little bit more, which I think is always the right formula. But I thought that Britt and Rebel pulled it off really well. They both look good on camera, look beautiful, and it fit Britt's character that she's still building. All that her villainous persona is still in the formative stages, but you can see that she's going to get this down really, really well. So I thought that was well done and not too long, and had some funny lines. It was just very, very well shot and edited. Good stuff all the way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. I loved it. I mean, and I love the tie-in to keep consistency with the relationship or the personas that with Tony Schiavone and Dr. Britt Baker. I think that's smart to keep that going because they do work well together and play off each other well. And you never would have thunk it, right? Who would have thunk that, they would have chemistry together, Tony Schiavone and Dr. Britt Baker, but they do. I mean, from that, the original promo, the burial Starbucks promo, where she just buried the shit out of Schiavone. Remember that one? I was on the boat, right?
Yeah,
on
on
the
the
Jericho?
cruise ship,
Yeah. I remember I was sitting home at this house, watching that. Yeah, I wasn't there on the boat. But yeah, that was I do think keeping that going and doing that in this deal here that they did in this segment on tonight's episode of Dynamite with Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel, I thought was great. I thought it was great because of the Tony Schiavone thing too, and him coming out and reacting to Snaggletooth. Where he was. Did they edit Tony's teeth, or his teeth really that effed up?
I don't pay attention to Tony's teeth that much. I'm gonna have to take a look
Really?
next week and when we're at TV.
I'll look when we drive from Atlanta to Jacksonville on Tuesday morning. I'll look at his mouth.
Can you take a picture of his mouth? Take a picture of his mouth. His mouth is always moving, Schiavone. So you can take a picture. It's always going like that. His mouth, la 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 la. So you can just take a picture.
And Taz, if you really want to complain about not being in the Bahamas, I was there for 32 hours. I had to go through customs. I had to deal with all that bullshit. And after the show, JR made me pay for dinner. So, that's what you missed.
Sounds like another week on the road, actually.
Except when it rained. It rained every day.
Yeah, it was like everybody was saying, oh, the Bahamas. But no, it was actually bad weather there.
But the pyro worked out well for
the Nature Boy suntan.
The pyro worked out well for you announcers that were there.
Yeah. So what are you complaining about? You actually had the best seat of all of us.
That's true. I guess so.
Well, keeping on. Next matchup, we had Shawn Spears, a very focused Shawn Spears. I think that the loss to Cody and the opening round of that TNT Championship tournament might have kind of shaken him out of his complacency here. And I think we saw the vicious streak of Shawn Spears really get focused, and much to the chagrin and much to the misfortune of Baron Black here tonight.
It seems like Shawn Spears is rediscovering himself, but he's still missing something. And it's not ability. Mm-hmm. It's not strength. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he's missing an element. And the more Tully Blanchard can be involved, I think will help Spears in the long haul. But he's missing something. But I really like his potential. But if he can fill in that one blank, that one piece of the puzzle that I perceive is not there right now. I may be wrong too, by the way. He's going to be a big time player. Too big, too long, too tall. He's got experience, but there's a difference in having 20 years experience and having the same experience 20 times. So I think that he needs to continue to reinvent, add a few wrinkles, because he's this close, I believe. I might be wrong about this guy, but I really have a lot of confidence that Shawn Spears can be a player.
Well,
I took you guys a shock. Y'all, everybody shocked about that?
No. I think we all agree, and but I just really wanted to get to the next segment, which is technique by Taz. But before we do that, we actually got a special interruption that we have breaking. Literally, we have breaking news here tonight. A new matchup was announced, or is announced, right here for Dynamite next week. Cody,
you want me to? Oh, you're saying it. Okay, go for it.
No, Taz, go ahead. You say it, please.
You want me to say it? Really?
Yeah,
I'm not used to leading a broadcast, so I might need help from you or JR. So no, you got it. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, Taz. I've got all the time in the world. You go ahead and say it.
I got all the time in the world too, but I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
Well,
I'm getting hot, JR. Get hot. Okay, you do it. You want me to do it? You want to do it? All right, I'll do it. Cody, huge match next week against the one and the only Joey Janela. That's what we got going on next week, right? Big announcement.
Big opportunity for Janela. He's going to be facing one of the finalists in the TNT Championship tournament. And you would have to imagine if he were to beat Cody in this match, who's also the #1 ranked competitor in AEW, not only would that skyrocket Joey Janela's stock, but it would also put him in line potentially for a TNT Championship title shot were Cody to come away with the title at Double or Nothing.
All right. Let's cut to the chase here. There's absolutely no reason in the world for Cody to wrestle Joey Janela next week live on TNT. No reason whatsoever. Cody has nothing to prove. If he wins, okay, he's supposed to win. Janela's got everything to win and nothing to lose. And also Cody now puts himself in a very sensitive place, knowing that Lance Archer is going to be looming around. It's almost like Cody's baiting a trap. Maybe that's what he's doing. Because if you don't think Lance Archer is not going to be sniffing around during this Cody Janela match, I'll change hats again. Here you go. So I think it's a mistake, and I think there's danger around the bend, or John Fogerty might say up around the bend, but nonetheless, that's for another minute later on.
Well,
when I'm out on the back porch.
I respectfully disagree with you, JR, on this whole thing with Cody and Joey Janela, and I'm going to tell you why. I get what you're saying loud and clear. I do. And I quasi-agree because it's sensible what you're saying, especially with someone like Janela, who is very, talk about unpredictable, and he's got a long history of putting himself in danger and injuring his opponents because he's a wild MFer. There's no doubt about it. I get all that. But Cody's got something right now that I think you want to keep going with, and that's momentum. That's why I disagree with you. I do think that it's smart for Cody to take this match with someone, no matter if it's Joey Janela or whoever, just to get out there, keep rolling. Everything you're saying, in my view, makes sense, JR, but from a competitor perspective, I get what he's doing.
Yeah, I think, Taz, your explanation is spot on. I'm just looking at the other side of the issue from a different lens, shall we say.
Yeah.
I think Cody's setting himself up, or he's baiting the trap to catch a big, tall Texan. I think there's going to be more to Cody and Joey Janela than just Cody and Joey Janela. And look, I ain't knocking. Joey Janela's one of my favorite guys there. I think he could be really, really good. And I know he likes being a bad guy. That's kind of his nickname, bad boy. But whatever.
Bad boy.
So I'm uncomfortable with it. That's all I'm saying. But maybe that's a good thing. I'm going to be there to help call it. So I'm excited about that. But I just got a bad gut feeling about it. That's all. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see next week.
Yeah, I think for better or for worse, Cody has never been one to back down from a fight, and especially a fight against somebody as hungry as Joey Janela. So yeah, there is a lot of danger here, and as you said, JR, very low upside. But to Taz's point, Cody wants to stay sharp. He knows he's going into that TNT Championship tournament.
And that makes sense. That does make sense, no doubt about it. So we'll see. We'll see next week if there's a Waterloo or peace in the valley. Yeah. Time will tell.
So the next segment on Dynamite was the most anticipated segment by all the people on this video conference. Technique by Taz. Taz, break it down for us.
I don't want to break it down. I did it on TV, but I do want to ask you guys this question, both you guys. I mean, no pun intended, I wrestled with this one because of the blackout and everything with Lance, the 9-foot thing. Okay, did it come off to you guys like it was an overstatement? Because before you answer, though, I want to let you guys know this. You're talking about a guy who was 6'8". Okay, so when his arms were above his head, and he has his opponent hoisted in the air, and the way I did say it was that at times, from the top of his opponent's head to the mat, you could be looking at 9 feet, close to 10 feet, because we're talking about a man who's 6'8". From both you guys, in any particular order, I'm showing my hand here. Did it come off as an overstatement?
Not to me. I liked it.
Yeah,
but I like data, and I like data. The only thing you didn't say that I would have said, maybe because I was watching at home, having a Diet Pete Snapple, was the fact that Archer also gets up on his toes.
Right at the end when he drives him down. Yeah. Brother, I had 60 seconds. 60 seconds. This was not a one. You asked me last week, Gerald. You do it in one take. Last week's I did. This week,
I thought you did a good job.
3 takes. I was disappointed in myself. 3 takes it took. Sucks.
You're too hard on yourself, Taz. You're too hard on yourself. You can't help it how you are.
I know.
It was a good segment.
I thought you did a great job.
Yeah. I need reassurance. I'm weak-minded. I need reassurance. Damn it.
I think if you practice and you keep doing it, it's not going to crater the minute-by-minute ratings like it did this week.
That was good shit. That was funny. That was a good one. I need a drink on that one.
So continuing on with Dynamite.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do like the technique by Taz segments. I don't
know how much longer we're going to keep doing it, though. Who knows?
No, I think there's a place for it. I think
I heard
every
on TV
week.
tonight they're going to do it every. I heard on Cody said today on Busted Open, because I heard him with LaGreca and Bully Ray, who I never call Bully Ray. He's Bubba to me. So what? He'll always be Bubba. But they had Cody on as a guest today, and Cody said, as far as he was concerned, that the feature with your Taz's feature is going to be every week. So I think that's a great element to our show. These elements are good, man. The stuff that Taz did tonight was good. We talked about these vignettes and the promos, the Jericho-led creative. I saw Jungle Boy on there tonight.
It was great. The Jungle Boy thing.
It says Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
What was it called? What did Jericho called? The Manitoba
Melee.
Who took the best bump? I'm going to give you my guy. I think Peter Avalon took a great bump in it.
Over the weight bench.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. And I did like Jungle Boy on the Vine Jones gimmick. What about you guys?
I liked, because I can relate to his body type, I liked the Iglesias guy.
The comedian there, yeah.
I thought Santana going for the punch and then stopping, picking up the John Claw, and then I thought that was good too.
What's the comedian's name? Excalibur. I don't know his name. I'm sorry. I'm talking over everybody. What is the comedian's name? I don't know his name.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fluffy.
Yeah.
In some terms.
He was hitting the guy with a bottle of tequila.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice product placement.
Yeah, well done.
Like the Rock's tequila. Rock's got a tequila now too. You guys know that, right?
That's right.
I do know. I'm waiting for him to send me a bottle. How about that?
Well,
yeah.
Ted, if you're taking the drive down south,
they don't have liquor stores in Long Island.
No, they're all closed on a shoot.
Those are essential businesses, Taz.
They are essential businesses. Now we got a liquor store in my house. Basically, that's another story. But anyway, I digress.
Mr. Brody destroyed Marco Stunt, continuing his path of dominance here in AEW. Since he has stepped foot inside our ring, he has been nothing short of impressive, and that just continued here tonight, Taz.
Mr. Brody Lee is just straight beast, man. I mean, just massive human, as you guys know, and just loaded with experience. Big time player, big time guy. Nothing but sky's the limit for the nasty and evil and sinister Dark Order because of this guy. Marco Stunt, I mean, like before the match, I'm like, I feel like I need to run to church, say a prayer for this poor kid. I mean, that thing could have been a lot worse than it even was, to be honest with you. But Marco showed some heart in this thing. You know, we know Marco's got some gumptions, got some heart. But I think Tony Schiavone said it best on the broadcast. I mean, heavy duty mismatch. I mean, it's obvious it was, but it needed to be said, and I like that Tony did say that. But yeah, I mean, I think Mr. Brody Lee can go as high as Mr. Brody Lee wants right here in AEW.
I think that Brody showed me great composure. He's really composed. He's under control. You can tell he's got a lot of confidence right now. And I think it's, again, we talked about this before here, guys. The common denominator on a lot of our talents, they're hungry. They're here to prove something. If not their business in general, themselves, the people they look at in the mirror. And I think that Mr. Brody is exactly in that category. Just did a great job. He's made me care about the Dark Order, and where honestly, I wasn't a big devotee of the Dark Order, quite frankly. I had a guy on Twitter tonight jumping my ass about, you say you don't like intergender wrestling because of the size difference, which I've never said that. Didn't care what the size. It's male and female violence or aggression in that manner doesn't do anything for me. And I have the right to that opinion. Not to say that we don't have an intergender match. If I need to call it, I'll call it. It's no big deal. But it's not my cup of tea.
Right.
But he said, well, what about this Marco Stunt match? How can that be anything different? And I didn't have an argument with the guy. I didn't even answer him. But the thing about it is that Marco's here to make a living. Marco knows. It's not that Marco comes to the ring and says, my God, that guy's so much bigger than me. Hell, Lord Littlebrook is as big as Marco, for God's sakes. God bless him. Roger Littlebrook, by the way, St. Joe, Missouri. So, but I don't know. People overthink it, quite frankly, sometimes. I love Marco's game. You guys know that when we had large crowds at our TVs, Marco got a great pop, as I say, right? You guys liked it. People like it. Like we talked about the intangible of the connection, the crazy connection between Darby Allin and the fans. Marco Stunt's got the same kind of basic connection. Orange Cassidy, same kind of basic connection. Hard to describe. I don't know. It's aromaless. It's colorless, but it's there. It's there. It's the intangible. So, but I really like Mr. Brody's game, and I'm anxious to see how well Dark Order does in a tag team race, and I'm anxious to see when it's time. And I think he's biding his time, waiting for the right moment that Mr. Brody's going to make a huge impact in AEW, and that will be this year.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And the interesting thing about Brody Lee in AEW is we really haven't seen him cut loose yet. And we've seen him show his dominance, have some really impressive physical performances. But that Brody Lee, the person, is somebody that grew up loving professional wrestling. It's his stock and trade. It is what he lives and breathes. And he wants to be able to show the fans at home that he has something special that he has never been able to exhibit, or that in very rare instances that he's only been able to exhibit. And I think he is just champing at the bit, waiting to get in there and to have one of those big epic matches that he's just not been able to have for a number of years.
Did you say champing at the bit? Isn't it chomping? Is it chomping or champing at the bit?
It is champing at the bit, Taz.
I don't know about that. JR, please. Chomping or champing?
Chomping.
Thank you.
It's spelled with an O, CHOMPING. Even in Oklahoma, we spell.
There you go.
Well, not well.
So there you go, Excalibur.
I believe champing is the British English version of it. Chomping is the American English.
Well, last I checked, we are in the United States, son. Okay.
I had a pescata for dinner.
But see, I think it's funny, JR, because once I correct, the great Excalibur, like he kind of gets all standoffish and gets all tough guy. But then when you side with me and correct him, then like he lays out and he's just fucking chill, man. You know what I mean? I think that's so transparent of who you are.
He's a very respectful young man, which I appreciate. He's a very respectful young man.
I know, and as soon as we end this live stream, he's gonna be like, "Damn it, it's champing."
JR, do you have somebody to carry your bags for you next week? Because I'm available. I just want to let you know.
You got called a jobber. You got called a jobber on Twitter for no reason. You did nothing.
I've been called worse for less.
Oh my God! Thanks to Shivani.
Speaking of next week, we heard from Jon Moxley. He'll be there live on Dynamite next week. That's super exciting. And we know that he's been somebody that's been chomping at the bit to get back to action because, you know, I mean, he's kind of like a shark. They never stop moving, even when they're sleeping. And, you know, he's somebody that's got a lot of intensity all bundled up. And, you know, whoever he faces in his first singles match, you know, back from the quarantine, you know, I think say a prayer for whoever that guy is. Oh, actually, it's Frankie Kazarian. Yeah.
I say a prayer for his wife, Renee, for having to live with that son of a bitch all closed up and where everybody's staying in under quarantine. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? I can't. So he's a little Mr. Intensity. And, you know, man, I'm probably not supposed to say this, and I might get in some trouble over it, but, you know, so be it. He every time he's evolving into his own man, as we know. He does have that chip on his shoulder from reality's sake, not showbiz chip, a real chip on his shoulder. But, man, some of his mannerisms, his attitude maybe is the biggest thing, so reminds me of Austin. It's just that nonconformist, don't need anybody, don't trust anybody, don't want a partner, don't want any of this. I remember one time putting Austin in a tag match going on early in the Staples Center, big crowd, sold out. And when he got there, he didn't know who he was booked with. He called me. He was pissed off because A, he wasn't going on the last, and B, I'd put him in a tag match. So I promptly told him that's what Vince wanted. He wanted to give him a rest, a breather. And Austin told me in no uncertain terms, you think I worked my whole goddamn life to be on top and not be on top in Los Angeles? And he said, and I don't want to be in a tag match. I said, I think that's a great idea. I'll unbook it. By the time you get to the building, I'll have had that fixed. So I called Jack Lanza. We make a different match, and Austin goes in a single, goes on last. Next morning, the agent reports come out. The old man, hey, kid, hey, pal, I thought we were talking about Austin and tag. Well, we did talk about that, Chief, but he didn't want to do it. And I didn't feel like dying on that hill. I don't want to piss him off on Sunday before he gets a draw on Monday. No, not doing it. It's not good business for me or you. So I think Moxley just has that feel to him, guys. He's a special talent. And man, someday when we finally get back in the groove here, and we're going to see somebody explode. If Jon Moxley's not the hottest talent in the business in 2020, this year, I'm going to be shocked. I really am, and I know I am biased because I'm an AEW guy, so I got a cap on that. So
I'll tell you, I'm with you, Gerald. Listen, man, I'm a big fan of Moxley personally and professionally, and I'll tell you, the vignette they did, you know, with him in front of that, like I don't know where the hell it was, but that whole graffiti wall, wherever they did that, like somewhere in the desert, it looked like, with this big ass old graffiti wall. What I loved about it was not just his promo and his delivery, but something real simple, a real simple thing. He had his championship belt with him. Okay. Yeah. He's the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And we've seen champions, okay, with titles in this company and other companies. They don't always have their title with them. And I know some people think, that's old school shit. No. It brands this person that he has a championship, which is a very big deal. In this case, he's the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Okay, nothing bigger in the company. He had that title belt with him. It's not a prop. It's a friggin' championship. It's a responsibility. And I love that he had it with him.
Yeah, I think Moxley, like Brody Lee, is one of those guys. They live and breathe pro wrestling, and as soon as they are let off the chain, as soon as they're let off the leash and able to do all of these things that they wanted to do for years and years and years, it's just such an exhilaration. And so for Moxley to be in the midst of that, and, you know, just at the very beginning of his AEW World Championship run, and then for this quarantine and everything to happen, it's got to be deeply frustrating. So I'm excited to see what comes next from Moxley, what comes next from this Moxley that's been interrupted for, you know, 5-6 weeks, whatever it may be.
I can tell you what's coming next: a fight, simple as that. And he's going to try to whip somebody's ass next week, or 2 or 3 people. He's like you said, Excalibur and Taz, basically the same thing. He's 10 up. He's ready to go. He's getting unleashed, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do on Wednesday on a live edition of AEW Dynamite. It's going to be good.
Kazarian, but you guys know he's going to go against Kazarian, as you pointed out, Excalibur, and there's no back down to Kazarian. He's a pro's pro, and it's going to be a hell of a match.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. Hey, listen to this, guys. Now we talked about Cody earlier and Janela, where Janela's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Man, that fits this description too of Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah.
Because don't think Frankie Kazarian would want a shot at the gold, singles money, and all that good stuff. Same as Scorpio Sky has indicated he might. So I like 20-year veteran and Frankie Kazarian. He won't be. He's not going to be intimidated.
No,
he's not going to be. Oh, what I'm going to do with this guy. It's going to be a great match. You're right, Taz. It may be the super match of the whole damn show. It could very well be, guys. Wait and see.
Yeah, and Kazarian is somebody that's held singles championships around the world. He has been that guy in different places, but in recent years, as we mentioned, has been primarily thought of as a tag team competitor. And so now this is a breakout opportunity for Frankie Kazarian, who most guys after 20 plus years don't really get breakout opportunities.
You're right. So it's shaping up to be a hell of an outing. It ain't going to be a walkover for Moxley by any stretch. And the other thing too is that Kazarian is, again, that experience allows him to go into a match more comfortable, more thoughtful. He understands what he's got to do. It's not his first time at the big rodeo.
And another guy that's gotten a big opportunity after it's a second chance almost is none other than Lance Archer, the other finalist in the TNT Championship tournament, who defeated Dustin Rhodes here tonight. And Archer, as you know, we've mentioned it, Jericho mentioned it, he's been plying his trade around the world most frequently in Japan in years recent. And since then, since he's come back to the States, since he's arrived in AEW, is another guy that has just been shot out of a cannon, and he is dead set on becoming the first ever TNT champion, Taz.
Yeah, like we talked about at the top of this post-game show here, we were all dialed in, locked in, looking forward to seeing the finals for the first ever TNT championship between the American Nightmare, Cody, and with Lance, the Murderhawk Monster. He showed tonight, going in there with a very capable, legitimate, worldwide star for decades, and Dustin Rhodes, who Dustin might be the best he's been. We've talked about a lot. Chris Jericho mentioned tonight too, and we all have, all three of us, how clear-minded Dustin is and the shape he's in, his cardio, his headspace, everything. It was a really, really strong match between a guy 6'8" and a guy 6'6". And it was a battle. At the end of the day, Lance got the better of Dustin, and he advances to the finals. I'm really looking forward to this finals, and I'm still sticking with what I said from the beginning, the three of us doing this post show. I do think Cody is going to win this match when he wrestles against the Murderhawk Monster. It's probably not the popular decision because a lot of people think this is Lance's time and this and that. But like we've all discussed here, Cody, he cannot gun. He cannot go after the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. It can't happen, This is his opportunity. It's do or die for him to get a championship, and it's to be the first ever TNT champion. I think, I'm not saying it's not important to Lance Archer, because I know it is. I just feel like we're going to see Cody win this thing.
It's going to be a tough fight. Like I said, Cody earlier summarized my thoughts is that Archer's got momentum. We've talked about momentum a lot here tonight. Archer has that. Cody fighting Joey Janela next week to maintain his momentum, which I still think's a little iffy for what's at stake. The win-loss or the risk-reward factor is kind of out of kilter to me. But I thought that Dustin had one of his best outings. He lost a lot of blood. He got the shit beat out of him, and he never stopped fighting. And he's 50 years old. He's a 31-year veteran. I was so overwhelmingly impressed and proud of Dustin. and how he fought tonight. It was just heartwarming. It's a damn shame he didn't win. But then again, we would have had a brother versus brother situation, and that would really be intense. But the Archer Cody match, I think if you were drawing this thing up, if I was going to draw this tournament up and start at the finals and work backwards, my final match would have been this match right here. This is the dream match of this tournament, in my estimation. And I think it will live up to the hype on pay-per-view, by the way. Because, again, Archer has everything to gain. There's money in pay-per-view. I'm sure Jake Roberts will be there. You know, Arn Anderson will be there. One has to assume. And so it's going to be an interesting element. I think it's the perfect end to this epic tournament. And guys can say what they want. What do you say? Well, Ric Flair's a 16-time champion, at least, by the way. But there's only going to be one guy that can ever say he was the first TNT champion, period, in history. Like Jericho can always say, the champion is the first ever AEW champion. And that is significant in the careers of guys. To be the first champion of an organization is a big deal. So I'm still thinking I'm going to lean for Archer, but I'm certainly not prophesizing any gloom and doom for Cody. Cody can out-wrestle Archer, but can he withstand the onslaught of strikes from this monstrous human being? If Cody tries to go toe-to-toe exchanging strikes, he's a dead duck. If he will wrestle and break Archer down and get Archer off his feet, the one thing I saw tonight, when Archer even goes to a knee, he becomes very uncomfortable. He's not used to being there. He's very uncomfortable. So can the kid with a great amateur wrestling background beat the world's largest former quarterback? Should be fun.
Yeah, I think there's, we said it at the top of the show. The sentimental favorite was to see Cody and Dustin once again at Double or Nothing, 2 years in a row. But it will be Lance and it will be Cody, and Lance has all the physical tools that he needs to become the first ever TNT champion. But I think one thing about Cody, and this is, I don't think I'm divulging any secrets here. Cody likes being somebody. He likes being a celebrity. He likes being looked at and admired. And so, JR, along what you were saying, to be the first ever TNT champion, to be going to the TNT upfronts or whatever with that belt over his shoulder, that's something that I think really motivates Cody, as well as the professional aspects of it. And so I think, while Archer is very, very laser focused on asserting his dominance here, Cody is very focused on elevating Cody as a national figure.
Well, he should. Yeah, in my opinion, he should. I mean, and who better to be at an upfront for Turner or something like that than a guy like Cody? Guy looks great in a suit. He's a good-looking guy, and he's in great shape. And I could just see that title over his shoulder. But then again, Lance Archer walking into an upfront, and you're looking up.
Turn a lot of heads.
You turn a lot of heads and hurt a lot of necks looking up at him. He's a skyscraper.
So
Archer turns heads in airports. I worked with a man one time that thought that was very important, turning heads in airports. And Lance Archer, with that hair and being that tall, that big, he turns heads. So he may try to take Cody's head off, but I think it's going to be a great contrast of styles. Again, just breaking it down. Cody wrestle, get the big guy off his feet, go to work on him. He's uncomfortable there. I don't know how great his grappling skills are from the bottom. Talking about Archer. But Cody's got those great skills. And again, tonight, if Cody didn't have the great wrestling skills that he has, he would have lost that match tonight, because he made a counter at the very last second that he could make the counter in the only way in that position that he could win the match. And he did it. So it's there. But the standing and striking of being a macho man, being little John Wayne here, ain't going to get you to the promised land. Not against Archer.
Oh, no. Like punching a brick wall. And so that will be coming up live on pay-per-view May 23rd, Double or Nothing pay-per-view, Fight TV, BR Live, wherever you can get it. I hope you join us. And I think that'll do it for us here tonight. Thank you, Taz. Thank you, JR, for joining us here on the post show. And we will see each and every one of you live next week for AEW Dynamite, 8/7 Central, please join us, and we can't wait to be back in your homes.
Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Right. Thank you. Good night, guys.
Taz.